My first piece of advice is to learn where to find barter items. Knowing where to find these items is going to be crucial, because in order to get important quest keys, we're going to have to barter for them with traders. A good resource on where to find barter items is Pestly's YouTube video, which I'll link up here. But I would also recommend playing a few raids on each map yourself. This can help you get a feel for where the most duffel bags are and where filing cabinets are. I think streets is going to be a major cheat code in this next wipe. The sheer number of filing cabinets you can loot on streets is just insane. I've marked a few of my favorite spots on this map. Filing cabinets are great because you can not only get keys, but you can also find important barter items. I would also recommend when the wipe happens, just to take a look at all the different traders and see what barters they have available. I've also linked the wiki where you can find all the different quest keys that you need, sorted by map. My second piece of advice is just to focus on questing. With no flea, getting your traders leveled up will be the way to unlock guns, ammo, and good attachments. I'll get more into this later, but knowing which quest to prioritize is going to be super important as well. By the way, if you guys are enjoying this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. My next tip sounds super obvious, but it's to try and survive as much as you can. I think that with the limited starting gear and no flea market, good kits are going to be hard to come by. Early wipe PvP can be really hard on some players, and especially if you've taken a break in the past few months. I hinted at this earlier, but it's also super important to know which quests are dead ends. As someone who's prestiged twice, I know which quests lead to nothing and which quest signs to prioritize. This isn't an extensive list, but here are a few early quests that will really slow down your progress. Number 1 is Tarkov Shooter Part 1. You unlock Part 2 at the same time, and that's what leads to Part 3, which is actually difficult. While it's pretty easy to stack them, I've had situations where I couldn't, and I had finished Part 2 before Part 1. In this scenario, I wouldn't really prioritize doing Part 1, I would just focus on doing Part 3 because that's actually difficult. Stirrup is another question that people really prioritize, but it doesn't make sense. It leads to no other quests and can be super time consuming. It also only gives 70,000 rubles, and you actually get negative rep on Therapist and Proper. Another quest you can leave to later is Operation Aquarius Part 1. It only leads to Part 2, and it doesn't give much rep or money. Also, Ragman's quest, nothing fishy about this, doesn't lead to anything. Lastly, Rough Tarkov, Shady Business, and Work Smarter only lead to one quest each, and they're pretty early in Jaeger's questline. On the flip side of this, it's really important to know which quests to rush. You'll want to rush Friend from the West to get Peacekeeper early, as he has a lot of the good early game guns. Additionally, you'll really want to loot those filing cabinets, as what's on the flash drive leads to the chemical quest tree. At the end of the chemical quest tree, if you choose Therapist quest, you'll get an injector's case, which will be super helpful without the flea. Another quest to rush will be Easy Money Part 1. This leads to Ref's quest tree, and while I think Ref will be nerfed this wipe, I think he could still have some really helpful items. As right now, he has a MP5 that works almost perfectly for Gunsmith Part 3. Another questline to rush will be Farming from Mechanic. After completing Farming Part 3, you'll unlock Shooterborn in Heaven, which is super helpful. To complete Farming Part 1, you'll need 2 tool sets to repair the control boards on Factory. So if you find any tool sets in your raids, I would definitely put them in your safe container. Additionally, try and pick up any of these items whenever you see them for Farming Part 2. As a bonus tip, I have a little trick that my buddy and I do to make early game questing super easy. That tip is to abuse Ground Zero. Low level Ground Zero is super easy to abuse for sniping tasks as well as Grenadier. If you don't already know, Ground Zero is broken up into 2 lobbies. One for players between levels 1 and 20, and one for players level 21 and above. This is super important because if you can unlock Shooterborn in Heaven and Tarkov Shooter Part 3 by level like 18 or 19, you can come back to early level Ground Zero and just dominate people. I have done this for both of my prestiges, and it makes it super easy to get these quests done, as you'll be running around with tier 4 and tier 5 armor as well as tier 4 helmets, and they can't really do anything against you. This tip is also super helpful for an early game task that I hate, which is Grenadier. Grenadier unlocks the super annoying task line of Test Drive, which you need for Kappa. What most people don't know is that you unlock Grenadier at level 20 no matter what, and if you immediately go back to Ground Zero, you can still play on the levels 1 through 20 lobby. You can run around with your level 4 and level 5 armor, and then shoot people in the legs, and then throw grenades at them. It makes it super quick to do this task. I can literally do this task in like an hour and a half when I'm using Ground Zero. To demonstrate that, I'll attach a bunch of clips of me abusing Ground Zero to get these sniping and grenade kills. Also, kinda because it's just funny. No! I killed one outside.
What the fuck is this ammo? What is that ammo?
I don't need to be a genius to know that Northrop Grumman is going to make money because of what's going on.
But shouldn't that be priced into the market? Do you believe the market's efficient? Oh my lord.